Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. You are in the Prog Corner. Man, it's summer. I'm showing some skin. That ain't right. I don't like it. Anyway, I hate wasps. So yeah, I am not happy that it's almost summertime. But that's a whole nother issue. Today, boys and girls, on the Prog Corner. Oh yeah, man. I've been waiting to talk about this one for a few weeks now. And I am going to be reviewing the debut album from Emerald City Council. It's called Motion Carries. And this is a band that was started by Brent Bristow. Yeah, I guess I pronounced your name wrong the other day. Yeah, I've been hyping this record up for a couple of weeks now. He is a professor of music at the Arkansas State University in Beebe. He is joined by Jake Livgren on vocals and keyboards, who obviously is Kerry Livgren's nephew. Noah Hungate on drums. He, of course, is David's son from Toto. And they are joined by Seth Hankerson, who is a former student of Brent's on guitar. And one of Brent's old friends, Jeremy Nichols, on bass. It's on Melodic Revolution Records, and this thing was mastered by none other than Jamie Tate, cat who's worked with Brooks and Dunn, and I don't know, somebody named Taylor Swift. But apparently, Brent had been working on some songs, and Casey McPherson apparently was the first person that kind of got him going, thinking about starting a band and laying these tracks down. Neal Morse, a big supporter of the band as well. There are some videos of him reacting to songs on this album on the Emerald City Council YouTube page, so check that out. We've got some special guests on here too. Brandon Goff is on here, the one and only Paul Balotowitz, who, if you're a Neal Morse fan, you know who that is. He's also the cat who's been playing guitar for Carl Palmer. Jeffrey Coombs, yeah, I thought I recognized that name. That's the cat from Reanimator. What's he doing on this album? Steve Rankin, dude who was on X-Files and Star Trek. Mike Thompson, Philip Moore, Douglas Case, Calvin Barnes, and Brent's wife Heather does some backing vocals on here. Yeah, there's 9 songs on this album, 61 minutes, and let me show you this here. Oh, this is cool. He sent me the record the other day, and look at this. The Jedi Master of Prog. How cool is that? That is awesome. So I'm sticking with that moniker. Why not? And here is the actual record. Emerald City Council. Let's have a look at it real quick. It's a beautiful gatefold. There's guys in the band. There's Noah and Brent. There's Jake, Seth, and Jeremy. And Brent was nice enough to autograph it for me. He signed it. So you got the lyrics here on the gatefold. It's a double album. And wouldn't you know it, what color vinyl do you figure it should be if the band's name is Emerald City Council? Absolutely. You know what color it's supposed to be. It's on green vinyl, so that just makes sense. That's appropriate. But yeah, this album came out a couple weeks ago, and I was gonna review it anyway. And then Brent sent me a copy. I actually contacted him. I'm like, dude, do you still have copies of the vinyl? Should I order it on Bandcamp? And he just sent it to me, so that was awesome. It's not gonna affect the score. I promise it really is not. Well, maybe it will. You know how that goes. It's a subconscious thing. It happens, you know. Anyway, the album. Who are these guys? What do they sound like? Well, if you detected a little bit of Neal Morse, and I mentioned Casey McPherson, so maybe you're thinking Flying Colors or something along those lines, you wouldn't be too far off. But honestly, I hear as much modern Kansas and late era Toto, which probably should be no surprise, right? The name of the band is Emerald City Council. Anyway, the album starts really cool with a song called Realize One, Escape from the Ancient, and you got this I guess it's a melodium, you know, one of those things you blow on, and then you're playing the keys. Sounds like one of those things, and then you get some narration from the great Jeffrey Coombs. Very cool. This is an instrumental track, but you got Brent's weapon of choice all over the place here. Brent plays keyboards on this album. What all does he do on this album? He's mainly known for his playing as a saxophone player, and he his weapon of choice here is obviously the alto sax, where he just goes crazy on this thing. Good rockin' song to start the album out. Really, really cool. Next up is Realize 2. Brutal Camouflage. This is a 5-minute song. The first one with actual vocals, so you get to hear Jake Livgren's voice on here. Acoustic guitar strumming in C, and then you got Jake singing, and it's a nice little melody. Later on, as the song develops, you get a real cool section with distorted guitar and Brent's sax. It's just really great. The shifting tonality in this song is really what got my attention. You really don't, it starts in C, but you're moving all over the place all throughout this song, so I'm a little bit seasick. I don't know exactly where I am. It's like a cloudy night, and I'm looking for the North Star, and Brent's not giving it to me, man. My only complaint about this song is I think maybe Jake sings the line, realizing all you're finding, maybe one time too many, I don't know. Next up, Noisy Talking. It's just a hair under 5 minutes long. This is a cool song, kind of tribal. You got the tom, the floor toms, and distorted guitar going, and then the syncopated vocals come in. We're in E minor here, and it really kind of, I don't know why, but for some reason it reminds me of Adrian Belew here. But this is the track where Paul Balatovitz is allowed just to go nuts for a little while, and you've got him and Brent trading off solos. So you got the guitar and then the alto sax going. Really, really great. And a word about Jeremy Nichols here. His bass playing is phenomenal. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Gary Thane from Uriah Heep on this track, which is definitely a good thing. The next song is called Mortal Game. It's 6 minutes and 17 seconds, and it starts, kind of sounds like Kenny G or something, maybe David Sanborn. Oh no, it can't be. It's not, trust me. It starts in G sharp minor for the little intro piece, and then when the verse comes in, we shift over into D, which is a really cool thing, right? I mean, they're kind of related keys anyway, but it does sound really neat. And Noah Hungate's drumming, really sparse on this track, really cool. Yeah, we go back into that G sharp minor bit again. And then at the 345 part, we get a really, really cool guitar riff with the best sounding snare drum you're going to hear this year, man. Whoever was responsible for Mike and Noah's drums, just fantastic. And the snare sounds so good, man. It's got that real sharp, crisp sound like a Bruford kind of snare hit, his Ludwig snare, but it's got some depth and a little bit of resonance to it. Really great. There's a weird double time section at the end of this song that I don't quite understand, but that's all right. Yeah, it's a minor gripe. Next up is Ice Thinning, 5.5 minute track. And this starts out sounding like it could have been a track off of Kansas's third album, Mask. We're in B minor here, and then we settle down and got a little acoustic guitar thing going in E. And then you get a heavy riff later on with a guitar and a synth going, and that's an F. I think you get the idea that these guys just shift their tonality all over the place. Oh, I guess the guy's a professor in music. I guess that makes sense. This song's got a lot of changes. It's kind of schizophrenic, but I do dig it. I love the middle section on this, man. Just a really cool up-tempo kind of thing with the alto sax going. It sounds very klezmer-y, very Eastern European-y. I love it. And then the album, I liked the album up to this point. It was nice. It was fine. It was good. But then we get to the epic, and just like every great prog band, you save all your best material for the epic. Absolutely you do. This song's over 20 minutes long, and it starts with a harpsichord and a recorder. What's more prog than that, man? And then the melody comes in, man. We shift over into G, and we get this beautiful melody. What, just an amazing, amazing section. This song's kind of about like social media and the internet and, how it can, unite people but divide people at the same time, and, the politics in America and all that stuff. Songs have been sung about this before, but he actually nails it. Brent told me this was the first time he'd ever written an epic, and yeah, he nailed it, man. There's a lot of different vocal sections on this track, kind of making me think of the way Neal Morse puts together an epic, and that's always a good thing. And is that Brent singing in the middle of this song? Because I don't think that's Jake. There's a section that there's a different vocalist. I think that's you. I probably should have asked you about that, but whatever. And again, can we talk about Noah's drum sound on this track? Just amazing. Yeah, that epic is astonishingly good. Couple more tracks before the album ends. You've got an instrumental that follows called Diversion 1. Real good, man. It's in a major key. You got the Hammond organ stabbing away in B major. And then the main melody comes in. You're shifting over into the relative minor, which is F sharp minor. And the sax comes in. It's great. A real bright, shiny, happy song, which you needed after a 20-minute epic. Absolutely. The penultimate track is called No Thanks to You. It's 4.5 minutes long. And this is the Toto track, right? Even with the, the keyboard, the piano on eighth notes playing chords, sounds very much like Hold the Line. We had a Kansas track already, so now this is the Toto track, I guess. But it's a good song. I like it. Good, strong melody. The album ends with Realize 3. It's 6 minutes, 16 seconds long, and it's parenthetically titled The Comfort of Suffering. And this track right away makes me think of another Neal Morse related band. This time it kind of sounds like Pattern Seeking Animals, and I am all about that. That's a good thing because that sawtooth keyboard, we're in a G sharp minor. Brent is a saxophone player, so I'm guessing he probably conceived this as something in A flat minor. You know how those brass people are. They love their flats. Guitar players hate things in flats, man. Everything's a sharp. It's kind of jazzy in the verse here, but the song builds and builds and builds, and it gets really, really like a real cool sound. You're building up to something, then it drops off, and you get the section from Realize Part 2. The vocal section comes back, closing the circle off, if you will, in a real, real nice way. Oh, man, like I said, I've been hearing about this album. I was going to review this album, and I was listening to it, and I'm thinking, this is a nice, pleasant 7. And then I got to the epic, and I'm like, okay, that's an 8. That just gained a point. And then upon repeated listenings, I realized this is actually a really, really well-crafted, well-conceived, well-performed, amazingly well-produced. Because honestly, I was looking in the credits for like Rich Mauser or Rob Aubrey's name on here. I guess Brent did all this himself. What a good ear he's got for production, absolutely. And I guess that Jamie Tate guy doing the mixing and mastering. If he's worked with Taylor Swift, he might know a little something too. So what is my ultimate score? I finally settled on a score on this thing, and it's 8.5 out of 10. I think that's about right. I like that score. Anyway, boys and girls, Saturday is record store day, 4/20. After you're done shopping and getting all your goodies, you come back home and you tune into the Prog Corner at 1 o'clock Eastern, where we are going to be having a live Q&A with New Jersey's greatest prog band of all time, Mirthrander. It's going to be amazing. So join us then Saturday with me and 3 original members from the great Mirthrander. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, punks, I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East. Free the Ukraine, and God save the king. Save King Chucky. Oh, that boy could use your saving. He needs your saving right now. He's not doing so good. So let's bring that boy to America. Bring him to America. He can swim. He can swim to America if he wants to. It's all right. Just get that boy over here, and we can do some prayers and spells and incantations, and we'll lay hands on that boy. And then we're going to dance with snakes. Snakes will be dancing, and we'll drink some poison. And at the end of it, your boy's going to be just fine. The House of Windsor will be just fine. And England will rise again. I'll see you guys Saturday. The live Q&A with Mirthrander. Peace.